Hi, everyone, and welcome along to the first Sunday market update of 2022. Who would have believed today? 2022. My gosh, it's flying by. As I said, it's the first one, and we'd like to wish you guys, I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year for those that do celebrate those things. We hope you have enjoyed it, freshened up, and had a break from trading. And looking at the charts, I've got to say, I think it was probably a pretty good time to have a little bit of a break from the charts, but choppy for mine in the build up to this. Now, we have changed the structure of the show, if you like. Each week, we're going to have 3 to 4 traders come in and talk to you guys for about 4 or 5 minutes each. Instead of having the whole 10 coming, I'm going to try and keep it really short, really sharp, and we'll publicize each week for you who's going to be coming in so that you guys know which week, if you want to catch up with one of these people, you need to do it. I might give you a little bit more on that at the end of the show, but we're going to open up, as we should open up all trading shows, talking fundamentals, and our fundamental expert is Alexis. Alexis, do you have a good break?
Yes, had an excellent break.
Fantastic. And fundamentally, what's going on in the world?
All right, so interesting stuff. I think we are looking at interest rates in the coming couple of months. So there has been talks that this article was out somewhere last week, at the beginning of January, right? There was a dollar hits 5-year high against Japanese yen, and a couple of things happening with the dollar as well. We had a inflation high of almost 7%. You can see here the inflation numbers for the US in 7%. So there are talks that whether the interest rates for the US dollar will finally, start to go up. So on the back of the many talks of that, we had the US speculation of whether or not interest rates will go up. So I think in economics, right, traditionally, if the interest rates go up for a currency, the currency value theoretically tends to move up as well. So what's interesting to mind is it's already 7% inflation rate. There are just many talks of, why, whether or not they will increase interest rates. So they're expecting interest rates to increase, but it still has not happened yet. All right. And if we look at the Forex Future calendar for next week, I think what is going to be interesting is that there are not many speeches coming along for the US, but what we have instead is we have, for example, the unemployment claims coming up, but there's nothing that says anything that's due to interest rates. So I feel that the Fed is currently hyping the market in the sense that, okay, we are going to increase interest rates, but when is still a question mark. So that is my I wouldn't say concern, but my curiosity is when will that actually happen? Because I think inflation at 7%, it really is an all-time high. All right, it's never been this high before. If I do a 25-year chart, you can see on the 25-year chart, the highest they've ever gotten was about almost slightly below 6%, and we have burst through that. We've gone to a high of 7%. If I just stretch the max all the way, you can see the last time it crossed above 7% was almost in the 1980s, right? 1980s was the time where, it's like when everything was we had a lot of, we had the wars, we had the oil crisis, and there was a lot of stuff that happened back then where inflation was high. So I'm wondering whether the US will allow inflation to continue to push upwards, or will they, just increase interest rates and in an attempt to kind of start to compress inflation a little bit. Now, increasing interest rates is not a guarantee that it will push inflation down, but it is one of the tools of the monetary policy to push inflation down. So it is an expectation that there are a lot of talks currently that the interest rate increase, is it priced in or not? So I think if we just scroll through a couple of the dollar pairs, you can see a lot of retracements coming on the last week. So in the Sunday show, in my Sunday fundamentals last week, I did talk about waiting for US dollar pullbacks, right, in an attempt to be ready to kind of buy the dollar. So we had dollar yen pulling back last week. You can see almost five straight days of pullback, the entire week of pullback. dollar cap that have almost completed its pullback. Seems like it's testing. I'm just going to put a couple of horizontal levels, just to show, it's testing off certain levels. We had dollar Swiss having 3 big days of pullback, and then again testing the horizontal levels, and of course dollar Sing big pullback, testing the horizontal levels, and of course I cannot miss out euro dollar. All right, euro dollar big pullback. On the other side, it broke through a kind of range, and I'm not sure what it's testing over here, but I think I don't know whether it's done pulling back yet. Okay, it looks like the kind of horizontal level, but it still looks like there's room for a little bit more pullback. But we'll see, because we had a big engulfing bar last Friday, and the question is, is now the time to start going dollar long, right? Because in expectation of the increase of interest rates, and now we're only starting the start of the year, I think it might, there is a good probability of a dollar bull. All right, good probability. So far, a lot of pullbacks in terms of technically, the chart looks like there's a lot of pullbacks. And I think if the Fed actually says, okay, we are going to increase interest rates at some point, and if the interest rates actually does increase, whether they do it secretly or not, but if it suddenly pops up that the Fed has increased interest rates, I'm going to expect a dollar jump somewhere. But in the meantime, I think trade the dollar with a bit of caution. All right, we can go soft longs. By saying soft longs, I mean that we can trade. We can look for. They are all bouncing off certain key levels right now in expectation of a dollar strength. So I was avoiding the dollar the entire last couple of weeks, but I think it is time to position ourselves to get ready for a couple of dollar longs. So my focus is on the dollar next couple of weeks, in expectation of that the extremely high inflation rate will push the government to doing something, anything, right, to keep inflation from rising. So that's all for me this week. I'm finally looking at the dollar for trading in the start of 2022.
Cheers, Alexis. Great piece. Going to be interesting to see whether interest rate rises and currency values stay as closely tied as they have historically, with a number of different interest rates likely to go up throughout the world this year. Well, hopefully going to go up throughout. Hopefully we're going to see interest rates rise everywhere as the world gets to be a better place. Interesting to see how this plays out. Like the dollar long, I think there's still plenty of time for that if you can find